A glimmer of hope. Ceasefire in Lebanon, the Middle East, land of scorching deserts, delicious hummus, and seemingly perpetual conflict. It's enough to make even the most optimistic person reach for the strongest hummus-adjacent beverage. But hold on to your hats, folks, because there's a sliver of hope shining through the smoke and rubble. After weeks of brutal fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, a ceasefire agreement has been reached. You heard that right? A ceasefire. This conflict, like most in the region, has deep roots and a complex history. But in a nutshell, things kicked off when Hezbollah, a Lebanese political party and militant group, launched a surprise attack on Israeli positions. Israel retaliated with force, and the situation spiraled, as these things tend to do, into a full-blown conflict. Civilians on both sides bore the brunt of the violence, with countless lives lost and homes reduced to dust. The ceasefire, brokered with no small amount of effort from the United States, is a fragile thing, held together by hope and duct tape. But hey, fragile is better than nothing in this part of the world. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's be clear, this doesn't mean everyone's suddenly best friends and planning a hummus-fueled peace rave. It's a small but potentially significant step in the right direction. The devil's in the details. Terms of the truce. So what exactly does this ceasefire entail? Well, like any good agreement forged in the crucible of conflict, it's complicated. First and foremost, both sides have agreed to, stop shooting at each other. That's a big one. Additionally, the agreement calls for a gradual withdrawal of both Israeli troops from southern Lebanon and Hezbollah fighters from their positions near the border. To ensure everyone sticks to the deal, a UN peacekeeping force will be beefed up and tasked with monitoring the situation. Think of them as the referees of this incredibly high-stakes and sadly very real game of let's not blow each other up. There's also talk of addressing the underlying issues that led to the conflict, which is a bit like trying to untangle a giant ball of yarn that's been soaked in gasoline and set on fire. Gaza, a humanitarian catastrophe. While the guns may be falling silent in Lebanon, the situation in Gaza remains dire. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, another militant group controlling the Gaza Strip, has created a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Imagine a place where basic necessities like food, water, and electricity are luxuries, where hospitals are overflowing, and where the constant threat of violence hangs in the air like the smell of stale falafel. That's Gaza right now. The challenges to achieving peace in Gaza are numerous and daunting. Hamas, designated as a terrorist organization by many countries, has proven to be a stubborn negotiator, often resorting to violence to achieve its goals. On the Israeli side, there's a deep mistrust of Hamas, and a reluctance to make concessions that could be seen as rewarding terrorism. Section 4. Biden's Balancing Act. A vision for regional peace. Enter Joe Biden, America's septuagenarian-in-chief, who's been working tirelessly to broker peace in the region. Now, Biden's no stranger to the Middle East, having spent more time there than most people have spent trying to assemble IKEA furniture. He envisions a future where Israelis and Palestinians can coexist peacefully, a future where falafel flows freely and everyone can agree that hummus is objectively delicious. His strategy involves a multi-pronged approach: diplomacy, humanitarian aid, and a whole lot of phone calls. He's been working to strengthen ties with regional allies like Egypt and Jordan, who can exert pressure on both sides to come to the negotiating table. He's also pledged significant financial assistance to rebuild Lebanon and address the humanitarian needs in Gaza. Section 5. Can peace prevail? A look ahead. So, can this ceasefire in Lebanon be a catalyst for broader peace in the Middle East? The short answer is, maybe. The long answer is, it's complicated, and anyone who claims to know for sure is probably selling something. The situation is fragile, the challenge is immense, and the potential for things to go sideways remains very real. However, amidst the cynicism and despair, there's a glimmer of hope. The ceasefire, however tenuous, is a testament to the power of diplomacy and the enduring human desire for peace. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, when the world seems hell-bent on self-destruction, there are those who strive for something better, who believe that a different future is possible. And maybe, just maybe, that belief, fueled by hummus and a healthy dose of skepticism, is enough to light the way forward.